Hello, this is Farrell Yoakum with Discipline That Reaches and Teaches. I want to spend a little bit of time today with my most favorite people in the whole world, classroom teachers. They're the ones in the trenches every day fighting for the hearts and minds of these children and help them become the productive citizens they would need them to become, and soon they'll be the leaders of this nation and of the world. But I want to tell a story today about a student that happened to me when I was in my second year as a principal some years ago, and it kind of illustrates the idea of compassion and me learning about being a compassionate person. The old saying is, a wise person learns from their own experiences and a wiser person from other people's experiences. So maybe my experiences can help you to be better at what you do, to be wiser in what you do, understand children better. We're dealing with people here, not widgets or golf balls or even serving meals. We're dealing with children, and they deserve to have a calm, cool, confident, compassionate professional in their classroom every day. So this is a story about, I'll say his name's Roger. I don't remember what it was, but Roger was a young man who had issues at school. His grades weren't good. He was often in trouble, nothing major, but just disruptive and just kind of always someone that was kind of a thorn in the flesh of some of the teachers, and wasn't one of the more well-liked children. He didn't seem to have a lot of friends even at school. He's kind of a loner. Well, anyway, when I would leave school, often Roger would still be out there. Sometimes, maybe be leaving at 6 o'clock or later, and not always, but many days, a couple times a week, Roger would still be sitting out there. And we had a kind of a little rock flower bed there, and he'd be sitting on the edge of it, swinging his legs. And when I'd go by, I was ready to get home. I'd say, Roger, what are you still doing at school? Why don't you get on home? And we'll see you tomorrow. And I'd go on. And he didn't really like me. It didn't seem like anyway. And they didn't spend time with me. But this one day, I just felt led to talk to him. And I put my briefcase down and sat next to him and said, Roger, would you riddle me this? Why is it, as much as you don't seem to enjoy school and aren't doing so well in school, that you're here at school? I would think it's one of your least favorite places. Why aren't you home? Why don't you just go on home? What's the problem? And he kind of hesitated for a minute or two, and then he answered me. I'll never forget it. He said, well, Mr. Yoakum, it's like this. There's a strange car out there in front of my place. He said, I live over at Sunset Trailer Park, and in front of our lot, there's often a strange car. And when I go inside, there'd be a man in there that I don't know. And sometimes when that would happen, my mom would just pick me up and hug me and kiss me and just welcome me. But many times when I'd go in, she was upset with me. Like, what are you doing home already? She'd be angry and just get out. And so I don't know what to expect. I find it's just better now, if I can, to just wait. And so I'll go back every so often and see if the car's there, and then I decide, am I going to go ahead on in, or am I going to come back here? Well, how sad to think about that. This was a 13-year-old boy who was struggling with going home. It should be the safest place in the whole world for a child, to go home, have dinner, maybe watch a program on television or whatever, and go on to bed and get up and do it again the next day. So I just want to remind you that many of your children are like Roger. I didn't know anything like that about him, but it changed me as I began to realize that there are the Rogers in that school. And it helped me to actually do a better job in my profession to be that compassionate person. Now, he still has to be held accountable. Students have to be held accountable regardless. It's a part of being what we're supposed to be to them, to help them to grow up, to become successful adults. They have to be held accountable. I'm not saying that at all. But sometimes a little extra measure of mercy when we know somebody's story, or just the way that we approach them about things. It gets around too, that as a principal or as a teacher or as others, that you're interested, that you want to know about children's struggles in their lives. And you kind of become that friend. And it's okay to be a friend, because people need friends. I'm not talking about being their pal. That's different. You can't be their pal. But you can be a friend who comes beside them and helps to guide them and lead them in the direction they should go. So today I'm just talking about that. I just wanted to encourage you to get to know your kids. You're not going to get to know all of them that way. They're not going to tell you everything anyway, even if you were to have that opportunity like I did, and you don't have time. But I finally took the time out. I just urge you sometimes to take the time out, get to know your kids, and develop a rapport with them. This is Farrell Yoakum with Reaches and Teaches, and we'll see you next time.